Hello, and welcome to the 129th edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Bruckert, and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Bruckert, where we're going to be sampling another great local beer. Today we're going to be having the Diver Down, which is an Imperial Red Ale from the Brew Hub in this beautiful, nice Brew Hub glass. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Now this beer is rated 83 out of 100, which is a very good beer. It's made over in Lakeland, Florida at the Brew Hub. And we'll talk a little bit more about what the Brew Hub is and that kind of thing in just a little bit. The beer clocks in at 8% alcohol by volume, so it's pretty, boozy for a red ale, but it is an Imperial Red Ale, so that does clock it in about perfect. Now, if you look, you get a perfect, beautiful head on that beer, a beautiful red. I don't know if you can see that beautiful color there, but beautiful red color. And when you smell the beer, you get a malty sweetness. I think the reason that you get that malty sweetness is because they use the two-row caramel Munich barley. I think that's what is giving us that sweet. There's got to be more to it than that, though, because there's really a sweet, almost like a candy sugar type smell to it. It does smell good, though. It's right up my alley. I like beers that are got a sweetness to it, but not too sweet. I don't want something that's overpoweringly sweet, but they use a couple of different types of hops in this beer to balance it. Now, I've had this beer before, so I do know a little bit about it. And I know they use the Willamette and the I think it's the Magnum hops. So they use two hops to balance out the sweetness from the caramel that they do. So let's go ahead, let's waste no time. Let's get into this beer. And I did let this beer warm up just a little bit rather than serving it, right out of the fridge. And the reason I did that is I've done a little research on this beer, and they say if you want to get the full flavor of the beer, let it warm up just a little bit. You don't want to pull it right out of the fridge. So maybe take it out 10 minutes before you're going to have it. Let it, get a little bit non-refrigerator temperature, and you'll get more of the flavors out of the beer, okay? So that's what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and sample this. So let me try and explain the beer the best that I can. It starts off with like a caramely sweetness and malt. So it's real heavy on the front where you're getting the sweetness of the malts. And then they balance it, I would say almost perfectly, with the hops at the end. So it finishes like a crisp, not hoppy like an IPA, more like just a crisp finish you get. Absolutely delicious. And they did a fine job of balancing the beer. Which is not something easy to do. Sometimes it's either too hoppy or too malty, but this one really is kind of spot on with the way they balance the beer. That's a really good beer. So I'm going to kick back and enjoy this, but I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Number one, I don't know if anybody can see this, but I'm wearing my October for breast cancer awareness beer issue shirt. So we got that made, and it's something I'm quite proud of because I do support finding the cure for breast cancer. And also I wanted to talk a little bit about the Brew Hub. Okay, the Brew Hub, what it is, for those of you who don't know, the Brew Hub is a place where they make beer they make their own beers, like this is their beer, but they also make beers for other companies. So other companies that don't have the brewing capacity to keep up with the demand for their beer, they will get their recipe and they will make the beer for them because they have a big facility over in Lakeland, Florida, where they make all kinds of different beers, you know, like OBP, Alcatraz, some of the ones that we've had on here. They're making over at the Brew Hub in Lakeland. Now, there are other brew hubs across the country. I think there's one out, I know there's one in Denver. I know there's one up in St. Louis. I don't know that they're all affiliated. I know the one in Florida is definitely affiliated with the one, I think, in St. Louis. I think they're affiliated, but I think there's another one I had heard about out in, I believe, Denver, that I don't know that they're affiliated from my understanding. So anyway, it's a really cool place. If you ever get over to Lakeland, Florida, it's definitely worth checking out because they've got some really, really unique, different kind of cool beers there. And we'll over time, we'll sample some different ones. The other day I had one that was really good. It was called The Dude. And, you know, the actor for The Dude just announced that he actually, I guess he has cancer. So prayers for The Dude, and the Dude beer at the Brew Hub is also delicious, just so you all know, okay? So, Oh, and the other thing, Diver Down. Besides me being an avid scuba diver, I do love to scuba dive. And there's nothing more peaceful in the whole world than scuba diving, in my opinion, because it's just silence and beauty. But anyway, it's also a Van Halen album, and I could not forget about, you know, Van Halen because Eddie Van Halen recently passed. So prayers for Eddie Van Halen and his family. Anyway, that's about all I got for this beer. It's absolutely delicious. I'm going to sit back and enjoy it. Make sure, if you see this, it's pretty much, you can find it just about everywhere in town, this Diver Down. I think Publix has it. Pretty much every Publix I've been into, I've seen it there. A lot cheaper at the Brew Hub, just so you know that it is a Publix. I think we got 6 packs of this for like $6 at the Brew Hub, and I think it's $10.99 at Publix. So if you're in Lakeland, stop by and grab some because it's a much better value there, along with several of their other beers. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this, make sure you tell your friends about Beer Issues, and make sure they tell their friends about Beer Issues until everybody knows about how much fun we're having drinking beer and talking about beer on Beer Issues. And if you want any cool gear like this cool Beer Issues hat, make sure you check out shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.